Hey everyone, this is Mukesh Otwani once again from learn-automation.com. Today in this lecture, I will be talking about how you can run your Playwright test from terminal or command prompt, or in simple words, using CLI commands. Till now, we have seen some basic test cases using Playwright and we were able to execute them, right? Before we move further, it is important to understand what are the different CLI options we have and how we can run the test from the terminal, because once we done with the development, right, we need to deploy or we need to run our test cases via Jenkins or any other CI server on certain virtual machines or containers. That time you might not have all these things, right, to develop the test or execute the test. You just need one terminal so that you can execute your test. So let's say if you are using Jenkins and you want to run your Playwright test, you will need CLI commands. Or maybe you want to run your Playwright using GitHub Actions or maybe Circle CI, Bamboo Teamcity. Take any CI server, you need the CLI command. So it's very important. So let's understand which commands we have to use and how we can use the different options that is available. So let's get started. Now in order to start, I will first show you one help section. So just type npx playwright --help and hit enter. The moment you hit enter, you can see multiple options. Okay, don't get confused with all the options. You don't need all of them at this moment. So you can see the usage part. Suppose if you need help for any specific section, you can do that. In our case, just now we executed npx playwright --help. These are the different options we have. So let's say if you want the Playwright version, you can say npx playwright -V or -- version. Or if you need any help document, you will say -h or -help. For example, if I use again npx playwright -version, I will be getting version which is 1.31.1. So this is the latest version of Playwright which I am using at the time of this recording. You might see a different version if you're watching this video at later stage. If you want to cross verify, if I open package.json file, I'm able to find the exactly same version, right? Now let me open this help document again. So these are the different commands you can use. Suppose if you want to open a browser in a specific with a specific URL, you can use open and you can pass URL. Similarly, if you have to use CodeGen, you can use CodeGen. We discussed about CodeGen in our previous videos. So if you are completely new, please check out that video once. In a similar way, we have options, install CR, which is for open the page in Chrome, then for Firefox, then for WebKit, screenshots, PDF, show trace. Right now, I need this particular command called test, which will help us to run the test with, actually it will help us to run our Playwright test. So let me show you these options, but I want to know more details about this command. So I will say npx playwright test again --help. So you can see now this is the help section. How we are going to use it? You will write npx playwright test, then you will be using these options, and again if you have any filters you can add it. So these are different options available, and you can say a very good documentation. It will tell you what exactly this option will do and the different values which it can accept. -- added if you want to run your test in headed mode, and all these different configuration. It will be very difficult to cover all of them into a single video, so I will make a dedicated videos on the different options that you can use. They have given some examples which we are going to use now. Suppose I want to run a single test or multiple tests. I want to run into headed mode. Which browser I want to use, I can use them in this fashion. Yeah, so let me show you now. Again, don't get confused with a lot of documentation which I'm showing you. I'm just giving you additional details in case in future if you need any other help, instead of going through multiple blogs or channels, the official documentation is the best way to look forward. So I've cleared everything. Now let's continue. Now in order to get started, if I type pwd, which is present working directory, this is exactly where my folder is located. So this particular project that you can see, it's coming from a desktop. In desktop I have everything. Now all the CLI commands which I will show you now, you can either execute from here or you can open any terminal. Let's say if I open this terminal, I can execute same thing from here as well. I also have installed something called item. I can use this item editor also to write any commands. But if you're using Windows, for you it will be command prompt or PowerShell. So I will show you both, but I will continue with this. So let me open VS Code. Now imagine you want to run a specific test, okay, using CLI. How we will do that? First we will write npx playwright, and now I will write test. This is the command that I'm using. Suppose I want to run, let's say, the sample.spec.js file. If I open this file, this we have written at very beginning. If you are completely new to Playwright, then I have around more than 12 videos on Playwright, which I will highly recommend before you jump into this video. I will give you all the links in the description or in the first comment of this video. You can check them. These are just having the basic test where I'm writing few tests, I'm skipping few tests, I'm writing some assertion. Few tests are passed, few tests are failed. And other tests are related to login, verifyErrorMessages dropdown. I will run them one by one. So let me start with the sample.spec.js, and I will be using this command multiple times. So I will just copy it so that I don't have to type again and again, and you will save some time. The moment you write test and hit enter, what happens? It is going to take all your tests which is available, and it will run all of them on the different browsers. Okay, I will repeat again. If you just don't mention anything or type npx playwright test, hit enter, it is going to run all the tests in all the browser combination which is available in your project, plus it will run on the headless mode. When I say headless mode, you will not be able to see anything. So this part I will show you at the end because we will be running multiple tests. But in order to get started, I want to run maybe this sample.spec.js which I showed you. So right now my path is set to here, right? But all my spec files are available inside the tests folder. So first I will put dot, which is current working directory. Then I will mention go to tests folder. Then I will mention sample.spec.js. Let me hit enter. Let's see what happens. See, it's running. It actually executed 12 tests using 4 workers, 10 passed and 2 skipped. Okay, what actually happened? Let's see here. So this is what we will do. We'll write npx playwright show report, and it is generating this report for me. So each and every test, so in this spec file I have total 6 test cases. So ideally it should have executed 6 times or 6 test cases, sorry, but it is showing 12. The reason is I have in my configuration 2 browsers. So by default every test is executing in 2 browsers, one for the Chromium, okay, one for the actual Google Chrome. So this is Chromium engine, which is latest release +1, and this is the channel, which is our local Chrome browser. So maybe for the time being I will comment this so that you will see the actual count. So as of now I don't want to run in Chrome, only one is enough. So if you see, first test is executed in Chromium and Chrome, second test is getting skipped, third test Chrome and Chromium, fourth test Chromium Chrome, fifth and sixth. So total 10 passed. Purposefully we have done this skip, so it is skipping this test. How we are skipping? We are just using test.skip. So this is the reason second test is getting skipped. Just now I commented the browser part. So if I execute npx playwright test sample.spec.js, this time only 6 tests is getting executed, and this time only one browser. It is on Chromium, right? One skip and perfectly fine. Now don't worry about this worker part, that why this worker is coming, like why 4 workers, how we can change the worker, what is the meaning of this worker. We'll talk about all of this in the next videos, but for the time being, just stick to one command, playwright test, then mention the specific spec file that you want to run. Now if you want to run them in headed mode, so if you noticed right now this is running in a headless mode. When I say headless mode, it is running in the background, your test is running, you're getting the result, right? But what if I want to see the real execution? So you will be using one option called -headed. This time you can see 4 browsers right here on this right side. It's getting executed and it's getting completed. Obviously we are not having any browser interaction in this inside this test, so it's opening and closing for you. But the moment you have real test, for example this verify error message, let me show you this one. So instead of sample.spec.js, I will run verifyErrorMessage.spec.js -headed. You can see the browser started. It will do some basic checks. It is entering username, password. We will be getting one invalid message. It will verify, and yes, we are getting one success. So that is the advantage of using this -headed if required. But in most of the most of the CI servers, you don't need this -headed, but for debugging it's important. Now you must have noticed that, let me also show you from the terminal so that you can connect. So I will execute now again pwd, which is present working directory. So this is the location where my project is located, right? I will open this. This is item, but you can continue with the normal terminal, or if you're using command prompt, please use command prompt. I will use cd for change directory, and I will give this path. And if I say pwd, yes. If I want to see all the file, I will say ls. Okay, this is an issue with item. It's not executing ls command for me. But let me show you from the terminal. Yeah. And you can see we have all these folders. So we have test folder, node modules, package.json, test result, and so on. Yeah, this font size is better. So by default, when I don't mention, it's running everything on the Chromium, right? But if I go ahead and uncomment this, just now I commented, right, this one. So now I have 2 browsers. One is I can use either Chromium or Google Chrome. When I don't mention anything, so if I copy this command now, npx playwright test, I did not mention that run on Chrome or run on Chromium. So what it does, it actually executes on both the browsers, the same test with a different browser combination. In case if you have multiple combinations, for example, you have mentioned that you want to run on test mobile Safari, mobile Chrome, Firefox, Edge browser, right? It will run in all these browsers, which I don't want at this moment. So let's execute. And you can see 2 tests using 2 workers. It's actually executing my test here. It's running on my secondary monitor, so you're not able to see anything. Let me run it once again for you, because hardly it will take 2 minutes. Yeah. One on the Chromium, can you see this? And one on the Chromium and Chrome. It's executing parallelly. Both the tests got executed. We captured the message and we are getting the result. The reason why I showed you this once again, because when I don't mention anything, it takes all the browsers which is mentioned in my configuration file and it executes. But now let's say I want to execute on Chromium only. I don't want to use Google Chrome. I want to use Chromium. So I will say project equal to Chromium. Now suppose if you made any spelling mistake, maybe you added some additional characters. The moment you make any mistakes, it will give you an error and it says project chromium not found. So it's not able to understand what is this chromium, right? It says available project, either use Chromium or Google Chrome. So yes, it is giving us this information. So I will just say Chromium and hit enter. Now it's not running on two browsers. It only picked Chromium. It's running my test. It is verifying some error message and we're done. Similarly, if I don't want to run on Chromium, I want to run on Google Chrome. So what I will do, I will again select, let's say Google Chrome. Just type Google Chrome. And now you will see some strange thing. The moment I hit enter, it says projects Google not found, available named project Google Chrome. But we are still giving the same thing, right? Why it is not picking up? Because of this space. So whenever you have this kind of scenario, you will give double quotes so that it will consider this as a single string and it will remove this spaces. So it will not consider the spaces, the complete thing it will consider as a string. Hit enter. And this time, instead of Chromium, it picked up Google Chrome, which is the real browser, and it will execute. One thing you will notice, by default, it will run on incognito window. So no need to check whether the previous history is preserved, cookies, any information. No, it's a fresh instance that it is running on incognito. So that's another good part of Playwright. This is all one by one. What if I need to run two spec files? No worry, in that case you will, okay, I will remove this additional options. Okay, let me stop this. Just now we have seen, I'm using Ctrl+C to stop this. Let me make it clear. Yeah. So if you want to run multiple, yeah, then you can follow the same thing. Let's say I want to run verifyErrorMessage.spec.js and I also want to run this sample one. So I will say sample.spec.js. Again, rest of the things are still applicable. If you want to run in headed, you will say -headed. If you want to run a Chrome or Chromium or WebKit or Firefox, you will add project. So headed I will add, and project also I will make it Chromium. So this time two spec file will be picked up. It will check how many tests we have, run on the Chromium and in the headed mode. So for worker parallel, you can see the test is running and it will be little fast and you will get the result. Yes, perfect. Total 7 tests, 1 is skipped, 6 pass. Now let me show you one more interesting point. Till now, in order to run a specific spec file, I was going till the test folder, then specific spec file, right? Now I can give the file name as well and I can continue. For example, again I want to run this sample.spec.js file, or maybe verify error message, login, Google dropdown. Instead of giving the complete one, I can just give the file name. So in this case, I will write npx playwright test and I will just give the file name. File name is basically just sample. Just type sample. When I don't mention anything else, by default it will run my test on 2 browsers, Chrome, Chromium, that too in headless mode, but I want to see headed mode. It is still working, right? I did not mention sample.spec.js, I mentioned only sample. Executed my test as it is. Another great way to run using file name. One more interesting point, suppose this particular spec file have 6 test cases. Maybe I don't want to run all of them. Maybe I want to run this particular test, which is my 4th test. Can we do that? Answer is yes. You can directly run a specific test from a specific spec file and you can execute. So in that case, just after test, use -g and in double quotes you will mention the test that you want to execute. In my case it's my 4th test. Again I want to run in headed mode. Yes, Chrome and Chromium, 2 browsers running, and yes, this time only 2 tests executed. If you want to see, I will open the report. Only 4th test executed, 1 on the Chromium, 1 on the Chrome. So very straightforward commands and very easy to remember too, but don't get confused. I will give all the commands which I have written here. I will give you all in the comment section, basically the first comment of this video, or in the description. You can go ahead and just change the file name or the spec file and you can continue. Now before we end the video, I want to highlight that if you don't mention anything, I just mentioned npx playwright test. The moment I hit enter, it is going to run all my spec files, okay, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now each spec file might have multiple test cases, so it will run all these test cases, that too in 2 different browsers, okay, Chromium and Chrome. So total number of tests into 2, and if I don't mention anything, everything will be running in the headless mode. So let me hit enter. Few tests might pass, few tests might fail. Okay, few tests I have written purposefully to fail, so it will fail for sure. So you can see test is running in the background. Okay, now few more tests is running. Yes, total 24 tests, 13 almost done, 14th one is running, 16th one, and it will continue as it is. So this is another great way to run the test. When you want to run the complete test suite, just mention npx playwright test and it will run the complete test suite. Since I did not mention any browser, it's running the same test on Chromium and Chrome. In your case it will be either Firefox, WebKit, Chrome, Chromium, and finally all the tests executed. So this CodeGen.spec.js failed for Chrome and Chromium. CodeGen branded again failed. Google one failed again. Dropdown spec file executed successfully in both the browser. Login also executed. This also executed an error message. So when we get to know the failures, so I got to know that yes, these 3 tests are getting failed. I can go ahead and fix it and run these spec file on the browsers and rerun the complete test suite. Yeah. So yeah, that's how we can run it. I hope it is clear to everyone. If you still have any doubt, let me know in the comment section what issue you are facing, what is the exact requirement if you are not able to do that. If this video helped you in any manner, then please do support this channel, share with your friends, colleagues who are struggling with Playwright or planning to learn Playwright. And if you like this video, please like this video, share with your colleagues once again. Yeah, that's all from my side. So in case this video helped you in any manner, then do support this channel. Subscribe this channel right now, click on the bell icon and click on all notification. Share this video with your friends, colleagues, those who are learning Playwright or planning to learn Playwright. And it would be good if you just hit on the like button, comment if you have any issues or need my help. And yeah, I will catch you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.